Taking care of a 3-month-old baby is like being a sober companion for your friend who's on mushrooms. Truthfully, and I say that with a lot of love because I have been the friend on mushrooms. One time I was on mushrooms, this is true, okay? I was on mushrooms, I was in a taxi cab, and there was a song on the radio in the cab, and the cab is going along the Hudson River. And I noticed that the beat of the song from the cab was the same as the beat of the Hudson River. And I said this to the cab driver, and he was like, "You're going to daycare."
Hey.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, everybody. I am catching up today with Liz Glazer. This is the Funny Women of a Certain Age podcast. I'm your host, Shelley Coleman. Liz, you were our first actual guest who wasn't a host.
That's so nice. I feel so honored. I love Funny Women of a Certain Age as a type of people, and also the organization and everything that Carol has built. So just happy to be here and with FWOACA in any way.
In any of its iterations. Well,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
Totally.
Because, really, I needed that today.
Good.
Some days you just need somebody to say, "I'm happy to see you."
I am happy to see you. I'm so happy to see you.
Great. Okay. I'm done now. I can go on with the rest of my day.
That was a great podcast.
Exactly. Someone was happy to see me. So, Liz, oh my goodness, you're so like big now. And I mean, we understand that there are levels of bigness, but you were on The Tonight Show.
Yes.
You have your special on YouTube, which is called Do You
You
Know?
Know Who I'm Not?
I do know who you aren't. You aren't me. So, but that's as far as I'm willing to go. I won't commit past there.
Yeah.
You're headlining at SOPAC.
I am, yeah. I'm headlining SOPAC. I do that once a year. I do a big headlining local show, and that's September 19th, which, as a side note, is the Saturday night between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. I'm super excited. It's a new show. It's called Big Waitlist Energy, which I really feel like I have anything in my life.
Big wait list energy.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now I do want to say, though, because I have to remember that not everyone who listens is inside my head. SOPAC is South Orange Performing Arts Center in
You know it.
what town in New Jersey? What city in New Jersey?
In South Orange, New Jersey, yeah.
Of course, South Orange Performing Arts Center. See, I said it and then it went right away. It just gone.
I mean, orange is a color, south is a direction. It could be just a name. And in this case,
true.
I mean, it is. And also it names the town where it is.
Okay. So now I was just looking at your Instagram feed, which is very funny. And
Thank you.
And most of it, I go, yeah, okay, I'm right there with you. But I have to admit, I don't understand. Now, I don't know if it's Yiddish or Hebrew.
Oh, the reel about the challah?
Yes, I'm sitting there and, I'm going along with you and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good story about challah. And I know what challah is, so I'm ahead of the game, right? But then you started saying words and I went, no, sorry, I don't get that one.
If someone wants to find this, I think in my grid, it's a video of me in a car. And I think that that's probably identifying enough because I don't do a ton in my car. So part of it, I just kind of let it rip in terms of some of the jargon because I was just like, let me just say this how I would say it to people who get it. And then I'll just kind of see what that feels like. Because right now I wasn't trying to make content. I really was just actually trying to make a video for some friends of mine in a group chat who had already been following some of the story. And then I just posted it and it turned out, and people have stories of this ilk on the internet, which is that sometimes when you end up posting something that's sort of niche in a specific kind of way, people find it who are in that specific intersection. And that's what happened with that video. So here's what it was. I'm a rabbi's wife and I've never made challah. There, I said it. I feel like that would be my identifying qualification in some support group that doesn't exist, at least to my knowledge. And I feel like, as a rabbi's wife, I'm somewhat singular in the sense that I don't look like what the prototypical rabbi's wife might look like, right? I'm
Sure.
gay. I look like a gay woman, whatever that is. Anyway, fine. I had been wanting to make challah maybe for a while, but then specifically Passover had just ended. Passover, famously or infamously a non-bread holiday.
Hmm.
And I noticed that there was this like tradition among some groups of Jewish people to make a challah that's called a schlissel challah that either or both is in the shape of a key or that has an actual key baked into it.
So
And that
schlissel means key?
I think it does in Yiddish.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well, this is a fun time, maybe, to end my streak of never having made challah ever, is
Okay.
to embark on this type of challah on this week that people make this type of challah, the schlissel challah. Yes.
Now, have you made bread before?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So this
Yeah.
isn't, it wasn't just, I've never made challah, but I've made
Oh, yeah.
sourdough, I've made
No
rye,
bread.
I've made all this.
No, no,
Okay.
because it
All
always
right.
overwhelms me, as a lot of things tend to do.
Yes. As I
And
remember, you
so,
identify as scared.
ha, I sure
And
do.
I do too.
Yeah. And so I feel like, I don't know, one time I baked cookies and they just look like an oil spill. Like anytime there's something that needs to rise in any way. I've never baked matzah either, but like, I feel like I don't even cook. I just like assemble ingredients. Like
Right.
that's the best I can really do. And so I was like, okay, well, why not do it this week where there's like a project that everybody on the internet, a lot of people were making these schlissel challahs on my feed. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll do it. So I'm trying to figure that out. And people seem to be responding. Sometimes you'll get a group of stories that gets a bunch of response. And I feel like this was one of them. People are,
Hmm.
hey, here's my challah recipe. Here's someone else's challah recipe, whatever. But then in addition to that, I discovered that there's this major debate among people on the internet about whether making this specific type of challah, the schlissel challah, is actually worshiping idols, which is like a huge no-no
Oh
in
boy.
Judaism.
Right.
And then there's debate about whether it's a debate. And the internet about anything, right? If there's even the possible speck of, a breadcrumb,
Conflict and yeah.
right, of
Yeah.
a debate, then it
Yeah.
expands, it rises into this whole loaf and whatever. So anyway, obviously the puns are intended there, but whatever. So I became classic me overwhelmed by the sheer debate of it all, such
Hmm.
that I just decided to throw my hands up and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy challah.
Okay.
And so I go to this bakery that I will not name
Okay.
because now they're embroiled and
Right.
we are friends at this point, by the way. Not that we were enemies at any point, because I have a hard stance on, well, we call it in Judaism lashon hara, which is a Hebrew. It just means the bad language, and what
Hmm.
it really means is invoking gossip about a named party.
Okay.
And so, despite the fact that they're a business, I'm not going to name this bakery. And the reason is because, okay, so I go to the bakery, I get this pretzel challah. I didn't even know pretzel challah was a thing. And then I tasted it. I'm like, oh my
Sounds
God, this is like
fantastic.
amazing. It's so good, Jelly. The next time I see you, I will bring you this pretzel challah. It's delicious.
I will hold you to that.
Yeah, please do. So anyway, so I get the pretzel challah. I also get a few Linzer tort cookies that were,
Hmm.
by the way, also delish. And my wife gets home after work and I was like, oh my God, I just decided to buy and I bought and I told her where. And she's like, you did what? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, that bakery has like a whole scandal from a few years ago. It was in the paper and like they wouldn't bake, gay cookies for some like event or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
a whole thing. And my response, by the way, I was like, well, of course I didn't get like a gay friendly vibe at this like super orthodox bakery. And I was just being real about it. But then I noticed that the same time the following week, I was like, well, I'm getting it again. And I'm addicted at this point. And so I posted the video that week, the second week,
Right.
because I was like, oh my God, now I'm secretly going to this bakery that is like my Chick-fil-A because they allegedly and apparently don't like my kind. But here I am, addicted to everything about them.
That's how
And
they get you.
yeah, they won't make pride cookies or whatever. Side
Yeah.
note, which now I do feel comfortable. I didn't share this directly with them, but I would. Is like there's so many cookies at their bakery that are just like rainbow sprinkles. I'm like, your cookies are gay, by the way. But anyway,
Uh,
I love them. They love me at this point, because I go there every week and we're like face to face friends. But
uh-huh.
a lot of the comments on that video are like, where's this bakery? And I was like, you're not finding any Lashon Hara on this page because I won't do it. I'm not trying to drag them at all. I just wanted to express the feeling of what is it like to have your version of
Yeah.
like, they're not into me or they're not into my people, but
Yeah.
I bet I can make them love me. And I have.
So it's a personal victory.
In a way, yeah. And I think that like my grandparents are Holocaust survivors or were, they're not alive anymore, but they all survived the Holocaust. They were in Poland, Latvia, whatever. And in some ways, as a result of that, I'm like constantly scared of a Holocaust.
Sure.
And at the same time, wonder if whatever I've developed in the way of personality would let me become friends with whoever in town who might be trying to get me. That's
Oh,
been yeah, and I suppose that's a bit of like a secret thought that even sharing it, I'm like, oh, I shouldn't say this because what if that's risky to
yeah.
share that I'm just trying to get them to like me in order to not kill me or whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I don't think it's that transactional, to be honest, because I do also believe, I guess, that like person to person, it's possible to reason things out or
Yeah.
something. And I guess, like, in the instance where I was like with the challah in my mouth being told about this alleged scandal, I was just like,
Right.
well, it can't be like, I mean, taste this. Like, are you kidding? So, yeah, so I guess that's
They can't possibly hate me if they're making this thing that I love so much.
I know.
How is that
Yeah.
possible?
Yes, and I also, like, I'm always like, "Well, I could be wrong." Like, it's not that I don't agree that one couldn't make a decision based on principle, like, of course, and
Uh-huh.
also, in this instance, I just first of all, I did not know when I walked in,
Uh-huh.
and then once I walked back in, I did know, but I kind of was like, "Let me see what I can do here." Also, this is just a side note of a side note. I mean, I don't know if you've ever walked into a kosher bakery that's really good at what they do. The place looks like, I don't know, a war room at a real estate closing. But it reminds me actually, when I was a practicing lawyer, we had a trip on the outskirts of Pittsburgh. This was like off the highway, somewhere near Pittsburgh, kind of. And it
Uh-huh.
was a place that we as lawyers inhabited before some M&A deal. And I was a summer associate. And we just stayed up all night in a room with documents. And that's basically the decor of this bakery. And so the idea that you would walk into a place like that and be like, could you do custom is crazy. They're not doing custom. They make the pretzel challah. They make a few cookies that happen to be amazing and are somehow made with margarine. So you can have them after you have a meal that's meat, which is like
Uh-huh.
game in all of kosher baking. And that's what they do. Like, what are you even asking for a custom anything? And so, I mean, I'm clearly giving them the benefit of the doubt in this
Yeah.
instance, but I feel like they got that call and are like, what? We don't, what do you even, just come in and buy or don't. And Leave us alone. We don't want to make like, we're not writing out happy birthday anybody,
Uh-huh.
in any language, no matter their sexual orientation. And honestly, as their lawyer, which I'm not, I would have told them to just do that instead of making a whole thing that the newspaper's gonna pick up.
Right.
Because why? I really just don't even think that they cared. I think they probably were like, "It's 45 minutes before Shabbos. No, we're not taking that order." So anyway, if I were their lawyer again, which I am not, I would have said just like make it not about anything. Because I really just don't even believe that it was. But what do I know? Not much.
A lot, apparently, based on the last 15 minutes.
Well, that just means I have a lot to say.
That's true. There is a difference between having
Good
something
day.
to say and knowing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But anyway,
okay, so the words that I didn't understand were
yeah.
the word for the bad words, which is
Lashon hara. Yeah,
okay,
lashon hara is like gossip.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
And so your concern was that you did not want to gossip about this
I
place and
didn't. Yeah.
all right. Okay, I get it now. Thank you for
Mhm.
explaining that to me.
Of course. No. I mean, feel free to ask me about any other, 45-second video, and I'm happy to do another 15 minutes explaining all of it. I'm sure that's really what people want. They want the long
Exactly.
explanation of the short video.
Yeah, like it's explaining a joke to make it funnier.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's the desired content for sure.
What is the deal with oh my god, I just turned into what is the deal with? A lot of people do videos from their cars. Did a memo go out and that's what we're doing now?
I mean, I know some friends in LA who really do a lot, but that's, it's LA, people are driving.
Right.
I think it's more functional. I mean, I'm guessing it's that. In this
Yeah.
instance, I was literally in the parking lot. And also it
Right.
has such great lighting because the dashboard.
Of course. Okay. I thought there was
Yeah.
some sort of specific like this is, one of those markers
No.
about this kind of comic does this and this kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
the what do you call them? The generations, which I still can't keep
Uh-huh.
straight.
Yeah,
All I
yeah.
know is I'm a boomer and everybody hates me. That's all I know.
Ah, I don't. I love you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I imagine somebody could know if
Yeah.
there's a word or a strategy. I don't know.
Yeah, I could probably, look it up online, but I'm not gonna do that because I
Ah,
really don't care that much.
use the computer right behind you with that monitor to do so.
That is a television.
Oh, yeah, good.
One of the old ones with the big ass, you know? I have 2 TVs and I live alone, and that's a sad
Amazing.
statement. I use it mostly as a place to put my stuffed bear.
I like him.
That's a stuffed bear, and his name is McKinnon,
Ah,
and it's a long story that I won't go into, and
What I didn't know until I had a baby is how focused babies are. She's like, I gotta take out all of the books from this shelf, and then I'm gonna have to put all of the toys in mommy's purse. And you can't leave a baby for 5 minutes without something to do. At some point I was like, she's ripping up papers. I'm like, I'll give her my bank statements. But that's the thing. So she was doing that, and then I'm like, you know what? Child labor gets a bad rap. And what if child labor started because some mom wanted to have the kid avoid a tantrum and is like, you know what? Just let her knit a sweater. And then she's got friends over, and then all of a sudden you have a sweatshop.
I went to the zoo with my daughter, who's 3, and I asked her, as one does with a toddler, "What did you see at the zoo?" And she was like, "Koala, kangaroo, pink giraffe." And I was like, "Oh, those are the stuffed animals you saw at the gift shop." So
'cause those are the ones that matter when you're 3.
correct. And she loved it. I mean, she's like, "And I love the zoo." I'm like,
Okay.
"Great." And in total fairness, they were great stuffed animals. And we went, whatever the day was that was 100 degrees.
I remember
So
that
we
clearly.
went, it was real hot. And the gift
Mhm.
shop is a perfectly temperate 68 degrees. So I don't blame her for remembering that time.
The only time I was comfortable when I went out with my mom
I
and there was a
know.
pink giraffe. Of course I'm
Yeah.
gonna remember that. Oh, so this brings me to you're doing a show, what is it called? Momcom?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So that's Holly Rizzuto Parker and Stephanie Silverstein, or I think she might have a stage name. I'm not sure. But they are people I know through the community that I live in. And they started doing stand up later in life and banded together to do shows. And they've done a few in our local area. And then Holly is from Staten Island and got the theater there to run a show, and so I'm gonna
Is it
headline
that's the
that.
St. George Theater? Is it?
College of Staten Island, I believe it's
Okay.
that.
You know what? I'll put a link. People can look it up. It's fine.
Totally. So that'll be a great show, and so that's
A
July 16.
and that's a Thursday, yes?
It sure is.
Yeah. Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. Because this is gonna go up on a Monday before that I
Oh,
can't do the
great.
math in my head, so
Amazing.
people can go and get tickets and go see Liz
Yes.
Glazer and some other moms, I
Yeah,
believe.
they're great. Yeah, Becky Verduccio's on the show, who's fantastic. Holly, Stephanie, I think Nancy O'Connor, and Liz
Special
Alterman.
guests.
Her. Yeah, it's possible. So I'm very excited.
Cool, cool, and you're
Mhm.
headlining that one too.
I am. Yes.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. So let me ask you something. You mentioned that these other women got into comedy late in life,
Yeah,
and
later in life.
okay, later,
Yeah.
sure. They
Uh-huh.
didn't start in high school at. Here's a side note. I did an open mic within recent memory,
Mm,
and I, as usual, was the oldest person. I was going to say on the show, but in the building,
sure.
and there was a kid, a
Yeah.
15-year-old kid, who
Mhm.
got up and did a set, and he was funny, and I wanted to kill him. And I just, you just can't do that. You can't do that. So I thought, right, he's the alpha, I'm the omega, or the other way around. I don't know how that
Right.
works. Anyway,
Yeah.
so they didn't start as
Mhm.
15-year-olds in high school,
Right.
and you didn't either, right? You were in your
No.
40s when you started or
I
30s when you
started at
started?
33. That was
33,
when
okay, yeah.
I did my very first anything,
Yeah.
stand-up wise. I had been at that time teaching for 7 years as a law professor. I had no intention of doing comedy, and it
Mhm,
was really just I did take an improv class just to have a hobby that wasn't goal directed because I
mhm,
felt at that time in my life that everything was. And of course,
right.
the irony is that now that's just a new set of goals. People are like, it's like doing something for pleasure, right? That
Uh-huh.
people, oh, what's work? What's pleasure? I'm like, give me 5 minutes with anything pleasure. I'll turn it into work.
It work.
And I feel that really
I
in my work.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was when I started. And then relatively soon thereafter, I had like an epiphany about, oh, well, I should leave. And I gave up a tenured professorship and all the
Mhm,
rest of it. And I've been at it since then. I mean, it's snowballed in its level of seriousness, which is to say that when I first did it, I truly had no idea what the pursuit of stand up would be. And so I was really just doing it like whenever I had a show for a
mhm.
little while, which was like I did it like twice in 2 weeks to start. And then I wrote an hour and performed
Wow.
it in the back of a bar. I have the footage. Um, and
Good that you do because I'm sure someone else does too.
yeah,
So
maybe.
you
I
need to
don't
have
know.
that in case.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know that it would be exactly like any kind of blackmail because I feel like my entire comedy is predicated on embarrassing myself. And so I suppose that's, an
Yeah, so
insurance mechanism to
yeah,
a
somebody tries
degree.
to blackmail you and you go, "Yeah, good luck."
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, you're just posting it before I could. But anyways,
There you go. Yeah, thanks for the bump.
I mean, truly. And so anyway, so I did that show. And then after a little while, I kind of got hip to the practice of it, of like,
Mhm,
oh, you go out every night and you write some stuff and you see if it works. And then you listen back to it and you try and tighten it a little more and you write some more and you add that and you're always working on your hour and, all the things. I feel like I learned them along the way. And
mhm,
in that sense, the pursuit of stand up for me was much different from the pursuit of anything before it, right? Like I went
mhm,
to a whole law school before ever practicing as a lawyer. You know what I mean? And so because of that, it wasn't like I really discovered my love for any specific area of law before I was just thrust into it and then basically discovered that I don't know that I really had love exactly for that, even though I did have and do have an appreciation, of course, for that time in my life, but also for rules and the practice of law in a way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, becoming a stand-up and
Yep.
becoming a mom, 2 things you've
Uh-huh.
done later in life.
Mhm. Mhm.
Any connections between those 2? Like, okay, let me ask it this way.
Mhm.
Had you become a mom younger, earlier
Yeah.
in life, I never know how to say that,
Yeah.
um, do you think that that would have influenced you into maybe not going into stand-up, maybe staying in law?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't think that was gonna happen for me, but had it, then yes, because I think that as a mom, I have an intensely practical way of thinking about finances and just kind of the doing of like life things and
Yeah,
how simple everything needs to be in terms of like whatever crazy ideas I'm having in my screen or whatever, no matter what, this is bedtime. This is when she gets up. If she's crying, I have to respond. So there's
right,
so much that's immediate and nonstop in terms of child rearing, especially at the early stages, that I don't think if I mean, I was so thankful that by that point I had a pretty I don't know if stable is the right word, but I don't think it's the wrong word, like a pretty kind of a hum of work that I could like dip into,
right,
and I knew what I had to
yeah,
do my work. Whereas if it was earlier in my comedy career, I mean, first of all, even when I did have a child and was at where I was at in comedy, I still had the thought of like, maybe I quit. Maybe I quit comedy and take care of her all day because at some point my wife and I were exploring various childcare options and it was daunting. It was really expensive. And I
yeah,
was just like, I'm not going to do this if we're going to be losing money from me working. And
right, that's
so,
I've read various articles and things about women having to make that
yep,
decision because
right,
childcare is expensive. So, do I
right.
work in order to
Mhm.
afford childcare, or
Yeah,
do I not work and then be at home all day? And then there's
yeah,
that question you have to answer. Can
yep,
I be home all day without losing
yes,
my mind, myself,
yep.
whatever the thing is?
All of it, yeah, and that just prompted me there was one daycare that was really close to our house, pretty reasonably priced, and my wife was emailing with the director of that daycare until the director stopped emailing, and at that point, I checked back in with my wife, and she's like, "Yeah, they didn't email me back," and I was
Oh,
like, "Hang on," and I drove there and pulled a my dad, who always was like, it's always better in person, and I think I did it because I was at a breaking point of, like, if she doesn't get into this daycare, I think we won't have daycare for the first 2 years of her life, and
wow.
so I walked into the daycare and was like, "Hey, I think you've been emailing with my wife," and the director was like, "I'm emailing with everybody's wife," and and she's like, "I'm really sorry, we're full," and then she was like, "What's your daughter's birthday?" I told her, and she was like, "Boop, boop, boop," and then was like, "You know what? We have 1 spot." And that's
Oh,
how that
cool.
materialized, yeah, and I don't know what part of that was in fact true or if it was because I came in, but
Yeah,
whatever it was, that really saved probably my career in a way, that
yeah.
move, single momently, because
Wow.
that allowed us at that time to have the daytime and then it also happened to coincide with what turned out to be a really, I guess, like profitable time in my career. So, like, that
Mhm.
was when I got in off the wait list to Laughing Skull Comedy Festival, which was where I met my manager and also where I met initially the booker of The Tonight Show. And then a few months after that was when I booked my Don't Tell set. And those were all moments that built on each other to generate some of the momentum that I have. And I'm not saying like, oh my God, and look how fast I'm going because I'm just, me. But
Well,
it did
but you're a working comic, though, and as you said, there are things that you can count on. There are things that
yeah,
you have this show at
knock
SOPAC
on
every
wood.
year.
Sure.
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yes.
Not that
Sure.
anything's wood. I mean, nothing is anymore, but, you know.
Well, my desk is, so I'll knock on it for you. How about
Okay,
that?
thank you. Thank you,
You're
Shelley.
welcome. You're
Yes,
welcome. I went
so
out and bought a custom-made
okay,
wooden desk. Of
for
course,
this moment.
this was
Wow.
decades ago, but, still. Nonetheless,
All
it's
for
wood,
this
and so I
moment.
use it.
Okay.
I had a thought, and now it's gone.
Oh, yeah. I get
This
that.
is this is my life now. I do this
Mhm.
on a I was gonna say a daily basis, minute to minute,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
I feel you.
It's
Yeah.
that I just what was I gonna do? Why did I come into the room? Why
I
did
know.
I turn to my left?
I
What am
know.
I looking at now that I was gonna do something with? Oh,
Mhm.
that's right, I was making a cup of tea,
I feel you.
and I forgot about it because
Ah.
the kettle stopped boiling, turned
Oh,
itself
sure.
off,
Yep.
you know?
I get it. I get it.
Ay, ay, ay. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, whatever it was, not all that important, I'm sure.
I don't think so, but hopefully you'll get it back.
Well, if so, I can always email you, and then I'll just,
You sure can.
I'll use AI. I'll AI your voice and
Good.
put it in the
Great. Great.
episode.
Great.
Are you scared of AI? Because I sure as hell am.
You know, I I mean, sure. But I'm scared of so much. I mean, my
Right.
entire algorithm is like prepper stuff and bad news daily. And in my algorithm, I had a video that was from an account that was just called at scary, which
Oh,
is so like I was like, oh, good. Yeah, they reached me. I'm the target demographic for at scary.
yeah,
But
don't beat around the bush, call it what it
yeah,
is.
right. Get to the point, and it's
Exactly.
be frightened. So all of that is true, and I
Uh-huh.
constantly am like, "Oh my god, what's the worst case scenario?" I think that was actually the part of being a lawyer that I did connect with because a lawyer is nothing if not like, "Well, you might wanna consider," that person. But anyway, so I'm all of that, and so part of somebody who has that mindset, you would think, of course, you're scared of AI, and I'm not. But I just do take comfort in all things, and AI I do think is one of them, is like, no matter what, every however many decades, there's a piece of new technology that everybody is totally afraid of,
That's
and it
true.
upends all the debates about and the thing is, it is scary, right? Guns
Yes.
are horrifically scary and terrible, and the
Uh-huh.
car is horrifically scary and terrible, and the
Yeah.
internet, and so I don't doubt that there are going to be situations that are I don't want to imagine how horrific and scary they will be. I mean, God forbid, truly. And also, I just don't want to live my entire life that scared. And so
Yeah.
part of the reason that I talk so much about how scared I am all the time is because that lets out some of the gas with it. And
Yeah.
so, am I
Yeah.
scared of AI? Sure. And if you get me at the right time in my algorithm when I should definitely put my phone down, and, yes, you can get me totally frightened about everything, including AI. And also, I don't want to live scared all the time.
Yeah. Let me suggest that you not become a science fiction reader.
Yeah,
Don't do it,
I
because
will take that suggestion.
that's where I come from, and all the stuff that I've
Ah,
been reading since, I don't know, probably in the '70s is when it really
right.
started getting intense because science fiction writers are excellent prognosticators, and they come up with
Sure.
this stuff, like Star Trek
Oh, yeah.
invented the flip phone. So I have all of this stuff in my head from when I
Mm,
was an impressionable teen,
of
and I go,
course.
"Oh, wait, that's happening now.
Right.
What's next?"
Yeah.
So, but I'm with you on trying not to be afraid all the time because it is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It is,
Right.
yeah, I mean, it just wears out your stomach lining and stuff. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I was confusing you with me. My mistake.
Ah, but I hear you. And I try to notice when that feeling seems to be taking over, which is frequently, and try to channel into an activity that's productive, whether that's writing, calling a friend, texting a friend, writing some more, getting on stage, editing something, like doing something that is creative
Right.
because I just would prefer to exist in that energy, but also I do like to be real about the feelings that motivate me to exist in that energy. So
Mhm.
they are real.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone I know who is
Yeah.
a meditator,
Oh,
and teaches meditation said, "Yes, but they're just feelings. That's all they
yeah.
are. They're just feelings. They're just thoughts." Which,
Yeah.
when you have the presence of mind to get that thought on top of the
Right.
other thoughts, and
Yeah.
then it turns into a circus in my head. So, anyway,
I get
so
it.
Uh, I want to talk to you a lot more, but I also want to let you go on with your day. And also, I have tea in the kitchen, which I
Ah,
just remembered was actually true. That
that's
wasn't.
great. I wish you and your tea a wonderful afternoon, Shelley. And
Thank you.
thank you, Funny Women of a Certain Age, for having me. Truly, always.
Oh, happy to do it. We'll make it an annual thing, like your
Please.
SoPac show.
Yes, totally.
Excellent.
Yes.
So
Thank you. Thank
it's
you.
it's dearlizglazer.com,
You got it.
which has your schedule,
Yep.
and on Instagram you are
At Liz Glazer.
at Liz Glazer. Okay,
Yep.
cool. So,
Yes.
I will say again, thank you very much, Liz Glazer, for
Thank
catching
you.
up with me. I really like talking to
Of
you. We gotta
course.
hang out sometime if I ever can get myself across 2 rivers.
Ah,
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe
well, we
not.
can meet in the city,
That's true.
whatever.
That's true. There is
Yeah.
an island in between us. We can
Yeah,
call it neutral
totally.
ground. All right, Liz
Thank you.
Glazer, just say bye.
Bye.